for the next one, Nathan, I'm going to be talking about what I think is the most interesting company that exists today. So this is a company. It's not interesting. It's not interesting because it's listed publicly, right?
Okay.
It's not interesting because of some billionaire founder up there. It's not interesting because of AI research or blockchain technology. I think
Oh,
it's got none of those actually.
wow.
So the company doesn't really exist to make money or even to make the world a better place, which you might have been thinking, oh, maybe it's a charity, maybe it's an organization. So the company actually just does consumer products, but they're more than just your standard consumer products. It doesn't just sell sort of standard stuff, product lines, stuff that is made to regular people, right? I would
Okay.
call each of the things that they do more projects, and they're more art projects than actual sort of product based
Ah,
projects, right?
okay.
So the company, if you haven't guessed yet,
I haven't.
it's MSCHF, which is Mischief. You may not have heard of Mischief, but you may have heard of the work that Mischief have done, which is really cool. So their website is like this directory. And you
Okay.
can click through to each of the projects that they've done. So for this segment, I've broken it down into 4 categories. So I've broken it down into their 3 most famous projects, their 2 most relevant projects with what we've been talking about recently, my honorable mentions, and 7 quickfire ideas. So what do you think of the website so far?
It's very unusual.
Yep. So it's basically this long list of each of the projects that they've done. I'm going to go through some of their most famous projects first, right?
Okay. Take it away.
So the one that I've seen a lot of recently is the BRB, the big red boots. So this is heaps funny. So these are these huge boots that are inspired by the classic Japanese show Astro Boy. So they're these oversized boots that these people have been wearing to, Coachella. They've kind of been around for sort of the last year, I think. And they were $350 originally. And there was this limited run that you could buy through Mischief. You can buy them now on StockX. They were a few listed for about $450, right? So they've built up this hype and they've done this drop and sort of got to that point. The next one, which I think we talked about briefly in a previous episode. So let me know if you remember this one. It was at Art Basel in Miami Beach, and they set up an ATM which displayed everyone's bank balance as a leaderboard.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you put in
I
your
do
card,
remember that.
yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
one.
So if your card has the highest balance, you'll go to the top of the leaderboard, right?
That's wild.
So I think if you had, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think if you really were walking past and you had a huge bank balance, you might not want to show it off for everyone to just come and rob you.
No.
But it was definitely sort of a comment on capitalism. So the joke behind the whole piece was that there's this ostentatious display of wealth in Miami with a lot of Rolexes and rented Lamborghinis and
Yeah.
rented jewelry and all that kind of thing. So the artist Diplo had a balance of $3 million in his account and won the leaderboard in December last year, which is pretty funny.
I mean, yeah, it's a funny take because it's like, as you say, like, it's basically inferring that like everybody's already doing that anyway. Everyone's already just like competing by demonstrating their bank balance, whether it's true or false. And so, yeah, you're right. It's just like a very matter of fact take on it. Like, well, let's just let people display it as it is. Take away all the
Yeah, yeah.
frills, you know? Yeah, it's interesting.
So I think this is the next one. I think this is maybe the most interesting project they've come up with. I don't know. I'll let our comments decide. They've come up with this thing called Key for All. So this was a really cool idea. There were 1,000 keys that were sold for $20 each, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a car. It was a PT Cruiser. It was all painted and crazy.
Yeah.
It was the PT Cruiser was I know it's terrible.
Arguably one of the worst cars in the world.
Exactly. I don't know if that's part of the joke or not, but it was all painted. It was all like just random art. It was like all done as an art piece, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it was all specifically made to be like this big, crazy, ugly thing going around. And basically, what happened was you buy a key for $20. They shipped 1,000 keys out, and then the key fob has a GPS that changes color as you get closer to the car. So the idea was that there's this hotline that you can call at any time to get coordinates, and you use that to get close to the car. Then you use the colors on the key fob to find it, right? And so this is like a take on the sharing economy with a somewhat anti-capitalist move to anti-ownership. Anti-ownership of cars.
Yeah.
Everyone's sharing
Mhm.
more of that kind of thing that's going on. And I think there was a service which came out, which is actually like a share car sort of service. So it was kind of like what if there was one car version of that, right? So the idea was that people would drive it around the country around the US, and they would kind of get a turn to drive it somewhere else and leave it somewhere else, and so it would just kind of be in all these random places.
Yeah, right.
And so yeah, it was pretty funny. And then different creators would kind of use it and sort of do stuff with it and whatever. And so it's almost like this. It's really cool. It's like a really good way to market. So every one of their ideas is like this insane marketing stunt, and that's basically all the company just exists to do fun marketing stunts for themselves, basically. So
That funds the next one.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to my next category, which will be two of the most relevant projects to stuff that we've been talking about, right?
Okay.
So do you remember in the last couple of episodes where we've talked about Hermes? So
we have. That's true.
this was your great segments. So this is really funny. They've got a product called the Birkenstock, which is with an I instead of a E. So basically, this is very relevant to the recent examples we've been talking about with basically the Birkin bag. So what it is, it's Birkenstock sandals that are made from a destroyed Birkin bag. And so they would take a Birkin bag and cut it apart and use that to make Birkenstock sandals. So one of the pairs is made from a destroyed Hermes Porosus Birkin 35 bag, which is a $48,000 red leather bag. Well, it's a $48,000 pair of sandals, so I'm not sure how much the bag was. And then there are a few other options for a few other pairs: the Birkin Clements, the Porosus, and the Ostrich. So these are 19,500, 31,000, and 24,000 to buy the pair of Birkenstocks, which is quite funny.
Oh, yeah, I've got it open here now.
Yeah, so Birkenstock with an I dot shoes is how you find that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny. Like, that's such a funny idea. It's like something that you think of where it's like Birkin is like Birkenstock. Oh, that's as a funny joke, we'll just destroy Birkin bags and make them into sandals. So yeah, I think it's great.
It's very good. And they do it well too. Like, I'm just looking at them here. Like, there's like engraving on the buckles, and like the branding on the side is spot on in a similar way that the actual sandals are. Like, they actually look high quality as well. Like the I think the key here is the execution is actually spot on. It's not just a cool idea.
Yeah. So everything I think that they do it really well. Like, they try and do a really high quality product.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
I'm just looking on the website here, and like it shows the original price of the bag that it was made from and stuff as well, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So the next product I'm going to be talking about that they've done, the next project, is the Tontine. So a Tontine is an annuity shared by subscribers to a common fund, but when you die, the shares are redistributed among the remaining living members, right?
That's right.
So that's
a bit of a Hunger Games vibe.
Exactly. Yeah. So here's how Mischief's version works. So you pay $10 to join the game, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
And then every day you have to log in to stay alive, and the last one alive wins the pot.
And
so here's how it's been going.
517 days?
617. So so it's so the way that it's been going is there's $71,400 in a pool of cash, and there's 437 still living and 6,700 that are dead. So basically 6,700 people that haven't logged in, have missed a day, something like that.
This is
then
such an interesting idea.
Yeah, so what happens is their little grave is around. So if you're on the screen, you're this little ghost person, right? So you can move around with the arrow keys, I think. So give it a go, and you can see, if you hover over where there's a grave site, you'll see that there's that person, that user is dead, and it'll tell you the date that they've died. And then you can hover over one of the little people in there, and you'll be able to see, oh, that person's still alive. They're still going. So that person's been like logging in every day and moving around their little person, which is heaps funny.
So I guess everyone had this obviously launched on a particular day, and you had to be on there that day.
That's generally how their projects work. You have to be there on the exact day.
Yeah, right. We need to like follow their socials or something and watch for the next one.
Yeah, it's very cool. So the idea is you get the app, and that's what tells you what the next thing's going to be.
Oh, they have an app.
Yeah, so the app is how it works.
Gotcha.
Those are the two most relevant ones. The other ones were the three most famous ones. This one's my honorable mentions, right? So I don't know if you saw these. There was the Gob Stomper, which is the gumball shoes. So basically, these were really cool. They were these shoes that were designed to be destroyed, right? So as you wear and tear them, they're a white shoe, and as you wear and tear them, they wear away a rubber layer, and the next one down and the next one down is made of different colors. and then we'll show a video or something of someone cutting them open or grinding them down or something.
Yeah, go.
Have a look up the Gob Stomper.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Basically, it's really cool colors inside the shoe, and so as you're skating or something like that, you're shredding the shoes, and it gets cooler and cooler the more layers deep you go. So those are
Yeah,
pretty
I see.
cool.
Because it kind of gets like a cool pattern happening, like a multicolored pattern where you're wearing it away.
Mm.
Particularly where like people who are skating, they're like when they're doing the kick flips and stuff like that, and they're like rubbing the shoe on the skateboard. It seems to that would make a cool effect.
Yeah, so the whole idea is it's like a stopper, and so
Oh
it's
yeah, I
like
see
the
what you mean.
lolly where it's all different colors on the inside.
As you go down, yeah.
That was cool. You wouldn't have remembered this, but a lot of fans of ours would have. Mr. Beast did this app called Finger on the App. So that was made by Mischief, and that was
Oh
in
really?
2020.
Wow.
That was in June 2020, and so all these, hundreds of thousands of people were, probably millions of people were on it. And the longer you hold your finger on the app, the more likely you are to beat everyone else. So the last person to take their finger off the app wins $25,000.
Oh my gosh.
And so this was in June 2020, when Mischief was still kind of relatively new. So
Yeah.
what ended up happening was there were 4 people still holding their finger on the app after 70 hours, and each won $20,000. So
Wow.
that's
How do you
how,
verify it's an actual person though?
well, I think it said like move to here, you had to like,
whoa.
there were like stuff that came up throughout it
Gotcha.
to check and
Made
whatever.
sure you had to interact with it. Yeah, well, wow. Okay, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So I
That's
think,
interesting.
but you just had to hold that phone screen. Yeah. So I mean, those are pretty cool. My last category is 7 quickfire ideas, right? Okay. So these are really cool products from Mischief. So there's I mean everything that they do is really fun. It's like this really cool little thing, and each one isn't specifically a product or whatever. Some of them are apps, some of them are websites, some of them are different things, games, stuff like that.
Yep.
So this one is medical bill art. So people's medical bills were turned into wall art and then sold off to pay the medical debt, which was really interesting. We've got all the streams.fm. This was a pirate radio for streaming. So you text the number to request a stream and it comes up on the site. So it'll pirate Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever and then play it on the website. There's Spots Rampage. So this is the $74,000 Boston Dynamics robot, but it's fitted with a paintball gun in a white room full of statues and obstacles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then here's how it worked. There was a live stream of Spot and the controls were randomly changed to a different user every 2 minutes. And then you had a go at knocking over objects and walking around and doing whatever you wanted for 2 minutes. Then it would change again and the live stream would keep going.
Yeah.
And so if you were paying attention to the live stream, you could get to control it and do whatever because you had the app.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. There's Card v Card. So this is a credit card which was shipped out to thousands of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each card was connected to the same account. So at a random time, money is deposited in, and everyone with that card would have to race to spend it as fast as they could. So you would get to spend money in that account, and yeah, if you were first, you won.
Wow.
I think that's a genius marketing idea. There was Blur, which is a stack of bills that's just blurred out. It's like a stack of US dollars, but it's all blurry. Just a physical product, and
Random.
it was quite funny. There's AlexaGate. So this is a device to put on top of your Alexa to keep it from eavesdropping, which is quite funny. And then there's the Jesus shoes and the Satan shoes. So these are sneakers filled with holy water in the soles or blood, depending on which one you got. And both are brought out in collaboration with Lil Nas X.
Uh-huh.
So those are their projects, and I think the projects are what's most interesting about the company. So I'm going to talk to them a little bit as a company now. So there's all these really cool ideas, and they're definitely marketing geniuses, right? They've come up with all these really cool little projects, and then they make some money along the way, sort of. But what's great about it is, like, if I made heaps of money from this huge exit from running this company or something, it's almost exactly what I would do with my time and money. Like, it's just building these fun ideas and products that don't necessarily have to work or make money.
Yeah.
Just one of those kind of cool things that you can do. They describe themselves as an art collective. So they're based in Brooklyn. They were founded in 2016 by their still current CEO, Gabriel Whaley. There isn't much information about them, but they've received $11.5 million in outside funding as of 2019, and they did their first drop in 2018. Since then, they've done 91 drops. So
Wow.
91
That's
little.
91 really random ideas.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know how
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to understand the creative process there in how do they continually generate unique ideas, because that's hard.
I think once you do one idea, you're like, oh, this would be a cool idea. This would be a cool idea. I don't know. I've got like,
You think they basically continue to generate off the back of each other?
I don't know. I think if you're doing something like that creative,
Mhm,
sort of, I
mhm.
think you think of more ideas more rapidly as you do more.
Yeah, right.
So,
Like, it puts you in a creative mindset that allows you to think of more creative ideas that
I mean, like
compound.
so every idea, like every time I do a HQLA episode,
Yeah.
I have like 10 more ideas that I come up with for
Yeah,
segments.
you make a good point.
And so I've got like the next 50 segments in my like notes app, basically. Yeah, but I mean, I think the idea of the company is really cool. So they're not really worried about monetization, is what they said. They just do what they have. They do what they want to do, and they have faith that it'll pay off. So that's kind of the idea. So the team's currently 10 people. Most of them have experience running a marketing agency previously. Apparently, it's a place with not much work-life balance, which is funny because it's like they've also marketed themselves as we get to work and we get to do whatever we want. But it's also a place, I think, where everyone gets there and works really hard for the next drop, and then works really hard for the next drop, and then works really hard
Yeah.
for the next drop. So yeah, it's a continuous kind of cycle. So yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's right. But if you're there doing this stuff, like, what even is work? Like, if you're just literally having a good time, like, what's your alternative? Go home, sit home, and watch TV. Like, you
Yeah,
may as well
exactly.
just be in
Yeah.
there having a good time with your mates. If that's the vibe,
Yeah. 100%.
it's good. It's inspirational. Like, like you could do that, but starting on a smaller scale.
For sure.
But it is very interesting. What it does is also highlight the fact that nowadays a lot of emphasis is placed on like efficiency and productivity. But like if you go back and look at like, the Renaissance era, or like if you go back and look at like old buildings or so many things in history, it was done that way just because it looks beautiful, or like, there was craftsmen who that's just what they did. It wasn't necessary. And I think to a certain extent, like I think society's lost that a little bit. And so when you see it, like companies like what you've mentioned that are literally just doing it for the fun of it or for the creativity or whatever, like I think it's actually really necessary in society to like combat, the opposite, which is pretty prolific nowadays.
For sure. I agree. Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. I think it's just a really good use of time, and I think it's cool to kind of just let whatever creative idea
Yeah.
sort of pay off into this really cool product, and then just do it really, really well, and it just comes out beautifully. So yeah. Also 91 really good marketing ideas for
Yes.
a business that you could start as well.
You could only imagine that they would have people knocking on their doors asking them to run marketing campaigns for them quite regularly,
For sure.
and probably
Yeah,
throwing
yeah.
a lot of money at them. Are you struggling to get your name out there? Do you want to attract more customers? Maybe just increase your revenue? Well, look no further than Unique. They're an all-in-one marketing agency, and they'll help take your business to the next level. They believe in marketing that should be both effective and enjoyable, and I tend to agree. So they offer a range of services such as web design, branding, social media management, and lead generation. The team of experts, they'll work with you to develop a tailored marketing strategy that fits the unique needs of your business. And they don't just stop at making you look good, but they're specialized in setting up lead generating machines. Their top secret methods will help you capture and convert your leads, leading to increased sales and revenue for your unique business. So search NEW NIQ UE on Google to learn more and schedule a free marketing consultation via their website. So let Unique take your business to the next level.
Index is a tech-focused recruitment platform passionate about scaling your engineering team, maintaining 95% placement success. To date, they've vetted over 8,000 developers, boasting on average more than 7 years experience across their recruits. Index supplies talent to industry-leading clients such as Omeo, a German unicorn that's raised almost $500 million USD, Perforce, a US-based leading DevOps solutions provider with over $300 million USD in annual revenue, and many others, some of which are backed by firms such as Goldman Sachs and Y Combinator. So So if you're struggling to find the right talent, concerned about high employee costs and staff turnover, Index has the solution for you. Through comprehensive assessments, in-depth interviews, and a robust vetting process, Index can provide your business with the very best international tech talent in less than 7 business days. For contracts greater than 6 months, Index is offering a 10% discount to HQLA fans the next time you hire using their platform.